Welcome to the second episode of the Bleav in A's podcast.
We believe in A's baseball.
Super excited to be here for episode 2 of the Bleav in A's podcast. This is your host, Tyler Texeira, with my guest hosts, Luke Mitchell and Devin Neel. How are we feeling today talking about the A's?
Excited as I will be. I love the A's. I love talking about them, even if they're high and low. But I love baseball. I love the A's, and we're here.
Yeah. We're going to be here all year, no matter what the A's are doing, for all your latest updates on your athletics talk. Right now we're 11.5 back of the AL West, but hey, we're still happy here in the studio. Happy to be here talking about the A's on the Bleav Network, so shout out to Bleav once again for believing in us.
Yes, sir.
Winning right now, hopefully getting into a stretch of good baseball here, and excited to talk some Denzel Clarke.
Yes, that is the big story of today. Denzel Clarke with maybe the best catch of all time the other day against the Angels. It's going to be tough, that one.
I've seen a lot of amazing catches in baseball in my short 24-year life, and this is definitely one of the top 3, top 1, I think. I don't know. He was halfway over the fence.
Yeah.
And he rolled along, so shout out Denzel.
Shout out Denzel.
One of the craziest catches I've seen for sure.
Yeah.
After making 2 crazy catches the 2 weeks before, so he's on an unbelievable run right now on defense. And if he can get that bat going, I mean, we're still a good way away from the All-Star break, and if he could have a good little stretch here, hey, he could be the A's All-Star.
Hey, the A's could have a couple All-Stars.
A couple. Jacob Wilson is going to be the one.
Yeah, for sure. But the A's have lost 2 in a row to the Angels. Last night, they lost in extras, 10 innings, a tough loss. But before that, they won 3 out of 4 after that big 20 out of 21 losing streak. And they beat the Orioles in the series 2-3, 2 out of 3 against the O's. So that's big for them at home. Yes. You know, they don't win a lot of games at home, so it's big to see that they won that series against a pretty decent squad in the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, and I couldn't help but notice there's a lot of Baltimore fans here in Sacramento.
Oh, yeah.
Just at my work, just seeing all the Baltimore fans come through. Damn, I gotta serve these guys right now. But no, it's good to see that they got the series win right there.
Yeah.
They it was a positive, and hopefully it just strikes more electricity through this team.
Yeah, for sure. We will also be closing out the show with our favorite segment, our favorite A's memory. We're going to be going over a couple for each episode, so it should be really fun to end the show. But yeah, right now the A's record is 26-43, 11.5 back of the AL West, 10.5 back of the wild card. So some work to do for the A's, but we believe that they can get on a run, and I still believe in this young core of this team, especially starting with Denzel, man, out in center field. That's our guy going forward in center field.
Yeah. Even though Seth Brown started today. But glad to see that Seth Brown got called back up, and he's back in the lineup. Hopefully he can get back on to what he used to produce in the past seasons. But I think that's why we kind of have him in there right now. I feel like his bat might be a little bit stronger in the current position that we're in, just because, Denzel Clarke is probably one of our best fielders out there from what we've seen the last few weeks. Yeah. But we need that offensive production right now a lot, especially if our pitching is going to struggle right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think it's the beginning of, what could be a really good young team. Like, they're not ahead of schedule like we've seen a couple other young teams these last few years, like, just come out of nowhere and make the playoffs. Like, it might not be this year, but having Jacob Wilson, having a couple guys that you trust behind the dish catching, and then, they got a good staff mostly. They need to get a couple more bullpen arms, but they got the mainstays, they got the shortstop, they got the center fielder, and so if he could give a little bit of offensive production, then that's just going to be a plus. But they got to get some of these other guys in here and start producing, and I still think they can go on a good run here. We still have 80 plus games left in the season. I think they could get on a good run, and it's good to see these young guys getting good reps early in the season.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the reps always matter going forward in your career. But with Denzel Clarke, man, he's been in the league for 3 weeks, and he's had the top play of the week in all 3 of those weeks. It's only been getting better, too. It started out with that robbery in Toronto. Then he ran into the wall last week, making that crazy catch. And now this week, making the greatest catch of all time. I'm saying it. It's the best catch of all time.
Tori Hunter also said it.
Tori Hunter, one of the best outfielders of all time, said it's one of the best catches he's ever seen. Also, Denzel Clarke made his way on First Take. You don't see a lot of baseball talk on First Take. StephenASmith showed him some love, said it's one of the greatest catches ever. And, they gave him a lot of time on there on First Take. Stephen A. did bash on the A's just a little bit. He said there's not a lot going positive out there for the A's, but he did show the respect and said Denzel Clarke is an up-and-coming star that you got to watch in the upcoming future. So that's very exciting for this A's team.
With NBA ending right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, every other sport. It is baseball season.
It's baseball season.
They got to talk about it at some point.
Yeah.
And as much as I don't really give credit to Stephen A., thanks for shouting at the A's. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, going off the play, their Angels hitter Nolan Chanel hit an 86 mile per hour splitter off Grant Holman, who was the opener in this game in the first inning, to deep center field. Went over the wall, but Denzel Clarke jumped over the wall, hung in the air, and almost fell, making this catch for the best catch of all time. Grant Holman, with the crazy reaction, just had his hands on his head, looking like, how did he even do that? And all the hitter could do was just look and blank stare into center field, just in awe.
Well, and then even the hitter Nolan, he was just like standing there. What?
Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. And I saw a picture of actually all three of the reactions to the pitchers when Denzel has made these catches, and they're all pretty similar.
Yeah.
They're all just hands on their head, mouth wide open, just can't believe that they made that catch. But yeah, it's been crazy for Denzel since he's been called up to the league, making his name known.
You don't see a lot of home run robberies in that fashion either. Usually it's a guy getting back, filling for the wall, and then timing his jump. I mean, the last time we seen something like that is probably when Kevin Pillar was on his crazy run in Toronto playing Gold Glove defense. He's got a couple Gold Gloves from those years out there, and I think that's definitely the potential for Denzel. And I think we're saying on the right over here, there's not a lot of center fielders that I honestly know in the AL, but I think Julio just won it. And so if he, as much as it is a defensive award, if he can produce some offense, he's just going to be looked at that much more and by that many more eyes. And I think he definitely has Gold Glove potential this year.
Yeah, for sure.
I will say that you brought up Kevin Pillar. Yeah. That one catch in the left field that he had kind of has a little bit of a competing with this because that wall in Toronto at the time was still 12 feet or something like that. So he ran up it, not 12 feet, but it was something like that.
Yeah. Whenever you see a guy on the wall and he's hanging. Yeah, that's definitely one of the craziest catches you're ever going to see.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen some guys get up there, and then I've seen Kevin Pillar get up there and have to come back down. So not every time they get up there it's going to go too well. And just to make a catch like that where his waist is on the fence and the rest of his upper body is, hanging in the air. I mean, we're never going to see anything like that again.
No. Yeah, we're never going to see it. Denzel, unless Denzel, decides to do it again.
Yeah.
Well, he nearly fell into the rocks in Angel Stadium. Those rocks out there in center field. Yeah. But he managed to stay in the park and kept the ball the whole time. The craziest catch ever. But before the game yesterday, the hitter who hit it, Nolan Chanel, and Ron Washington, the Angels manager, came up to him before the game in batting practice and showed him a ton of love, talked to him about the catch, dapped him up. So that was really cool to see them showing him some respect. He's one of the A's top prospects, was called up only on May 23rd. So 3 weeks into his MLB career, he's already a star on, the biggest stage. So
shout out Wash. He's an A's guy. Had to go over there and give his guy some love. So you always love to see that.
Yeah, for sure. Like Luke said, the bat does need to wake up just a little bit. I have seen some improvements since the first couple games. He's still hitting 255 at-bats, so, definitely some improvement there. Mm-hmm. He does have a couple RBIs, and I think he has good on-base potential. Not really too much of a power guy, but he can get on base, steal some bases, and, make things happen. Maybe eventually we can put him at the top of the order with some guys like Lawrence Butler, Jacob Wilson, Brent Rooker, and Soderstrom, and also Shea Langoliers. That could be a deadly, first six in your lineup.
Oh, yeah.
Average, go ahead.
Dude's 6'4".
Yeah.
So, dude has the speed and the length to do a lot of damage on the bases.
Yeah.
So.
Average is kind of we don't really look at it with that much more oh my gosh anymore. It's kind of like pitchers and win-loss stats. Mm-hmm. But it's really just about getting on base, and if he can be a guy who gets on base, I mean, he could lead off for these guys. You put Jacob Wilson in the 2-hole because he's going to put the bat on the ball, even 3. So I mean, I think he just has, obviously, like I said, Gold Glove potential defense. But if he gets on base at a good rate, no matter the average and no matter what power comes with it, I mean, that's just all extra. Yeah. But if he's on base, that's the biggest threat.
Yeah, for sure. He's only 25 years old, so a long career ahead of him for Denzel. Already one of my favorite players. Also wanted to mention that yesterday, someone on the Angels hit a deep fly ball to center field. Everyone, it was in the second inning, so everyone's on edge, is he going to do it again? Is he going to do it again? He was running back, feeling for the wall. He ended up not having to climb over the wall this time, just made the catch at the warning track. And then it showed some fans in the bleachers wearing A's gear, and the fan turned around, and he's already wearing a Denzel Clarke jersey. So already got some Denzel Clarke jerseys in the stands in his third week in the MLB. You do not see that a lot of the time.
No.
So, yeah, shout out to that fan out there showing Denzel the love he deserves. But going off that, the A's did lose last night 2-1 to the Angels in the 10th inning. It was a tough loss, really a pitcher's duel from the start. Jose Soriano was the starter for the Angels, and Mitch Spence, who has been out of the year, has came into that starting rotation, and back-to-back outings for him has been very good. Mitch Spence went 5 innings of scoreless ball, and the pitcher for the Angels, Jose Soriano, did not give up his first hit until the 6th inning, where Brent Rooker hit an RBI double. So the A's walked twice before they're getting their first hit, but it wasn't looking too hot with the offense last night.
It's I mean, with the Angels, they have us figured out. I mean, they swept us here in Sacramento.
Yeah.
So that was a big bummer to see, especially with my boy Thomas being a big Angels fan. He didn't really let me not hear that. He'll probably text me again today if anything bad happens.
Yeah.
But,
hey, the A's are up right now. I'm not trying to jinx them again. We jinxed them on the first show, but we have confidence that the A's can get a win out there in LA.
Just got to close it out, man.
Yeah.
I need Mason Miller to come out, and I don't think he closed out. I don't think he tried to close out last night.
No, he did not come in last night.
But, I mean, tonight, I believe in him.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come in with a lead in the 8th or 9th inning and shut him down. But after Mitch Spence got taken out after 5 scoreless innings, Mitch Kelly, one of the new relievers on this staff, got put in the 6th inning, and I was not very happy with his performance. He walked a ton of guys, gave up some hits, but ended up getting out of the jam in the 6th inning. He scared me a little bit, but he did get out of the jam, so you can't say too much bad about him. He did get out of the tough jam. And the new catcher that the A's just traded for the other day, Austin Wynns, had a tough night at the plate with 2 strikeouts, but threw someone out at second base trying to steal in his first game with the A's. So that's big.
He's got a nice arm.
Yeah.
That was pretty nice. But, I mean, I wish I could. We need to see Shea more back there.
He's hurt, so he's on the 10-day.
Yeah, he's on a 10-day, but, I mean, we need him in the lineup. Shea's a big part of it.
He definitely is.
I mean, it's nice to see that we have some potential back there behind the plate still.
Yeah. I mean, Austin Wynns is not young by any means. He's over 30 years old, he's been around, but we need him to get going.
I need Sodi. Maybe go back to catch.
Yeah, I forgot that he actually came up as a catcher, so that could, I don't know how much he's been catching in practice or anything. He looks like he's getting out there in left field or first base, but I wouldn't be mad at it.
I love Soderstrom, but in left field, I'm not really liking his game.
Not loving it either. Especially if we want to put Denzel Clarke in center. That means J.J. Bleav will probably move on to left field, and then we got Lawrence Butler in right field. Yeah. I feel confident in that outfield, so things need to change. And our guy Nick Kurtz is back playing first base, so he hit a double last night in the 7th inning in his first game back. And then Max Muncy came up, struck out. That was his 3rd strikeout of the game. Max Muncy is really hit or miss right now. Either he's having no doubt home run and a single in a game, or he's striking out 3 or 4 times, not even coming close to making contact. So I feel like he's not really a big guy. Like, he shouldn't be trying to hit a home run every time, and that seems like what he's kind of doing.
Yeah. I mean, kind of you can relate him into Denzel Clarke. We need him to get on base because we have plenty of guys that can get him moving around.
Yeah.
But like you said, he's kind of swinging. He's swinging hard.
He's swinging for the fences.
Yeah. But he is swinging, though. That's the good thing. He's not going down looking a whole lot.
He's definitely swinging. Yeah. I don't think he's gone down. I don't think he went down looking one time last night, so that's big. At least he's being aggressive.
That's just the way the young hitters are coming up in this day and age. They're just, in any count, any pitch, they're trying to hit the ball over the wall.
Yeah.
I think, over time, with more reps, he's going to learn that, he's got to have a strike zone and an approach, and I think he'll learn that over time, and he'll be a good little player for sure.
Yeah, we've also been putting him at third base because Miguel Andujar is on the injured list, and he's made some errors over there at third. I'm not sure how familiar he is with that third base position. Coming up as a shortstop, moving him to second base when he made the bigs early in the year, and now putting him at third base, a position he's probably not played a ton. Last night, he made an error in the first inning, but then ended up turning a clutch double play ball at third base. He got the ball, ran on third, tagged the bag, threw to first for the double play. That was huge to get out of the jam. So I have high hopes for Max Muncy. I think he's going to be one of our best players in the upcoming future.
Well, that could bleed over too. Like, if you come out in the first inning and you make an error, you're going to be thinking about that through your at-bats and everything. So, especially playing a new position, if he just has like a good game over there defensively, then I think that could get him in a rhythm, and then you could see that translate to the plate.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that transition from shortstop to third, like, you can think like, oh, it's only just one position over, but that's a whole nother, 10 feet. You got to move closer. It's that's why it's called the hot corner.
Hot corner.
So, I mean, Yeah, like they're MLB players, and it should be a little bit easier, but that's a big difference when you're growing up.
It's a big adjustment.
And the ways you're going to have to make plays, too, it's a longer throw.
Longer throw.
He was at second, too, so, like, you're used to that. You kind of have all the time in the world, you can get down on a knee, let it hit you, pick it up, still get a guy out.
Yeah.
But, moving over to third, it's everything's got to be in one motion, and you got to get the ball. You got to get the ball over there. And that's why third basemen are guys with good hands and good arms.
Yeah, for sure. Well, going back over the game after Nick Kurtz hit that double in the 7th, Max Muncy struck out, and then with 2 outs, Austin wins. The new catcher grounds out, so the A's did not score in the 7th inning. They were up 1-0 at this point, though, after the Brent Rooker RBI double. And then one of the most consistent pitchers out of the A's bullpen, T.J. McFarland, the big lefty, the vet, came in. First batter he faced, Travis d'Arnaud, took him deep to left field. So, I mean, I love T.J. McFarland. I think he's one of the guys we should build around, but putting him in to face guys that aren't left-handed worries me every single time.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what kind of matchup that is, a lefty versus a right, like it's not a good matchup to have. And then with him, we haven't seen much of him a lot.
He's been on the injured list for a while. Now he's finally back.
So he's got to get that rhythm.
Yeah.
And I mean, I wasn't really surprised, not going to lie.
Yeah, he does give up a lot of homers, which is not good out of the pen.
I was not surprised.
This is where I think the A's are going to have to, make a lot of their money and win a lot of their ball games is once that starter comes out, then you have to find any way you can to get it to Mason Miller in the 9th. Because, we're all confident in Miller is going to come in the 9th inning and shut it down, maybe even in the 8th with an out or 2 outs.
Yeah.
So just doing everything you can to get it to the 9th. And, it was unfortunate. It was the first kind of blow up he's probably had. And it was just the home run. So, I mean, from a vet, you kind of, need them to be steady and kind of pick everyone else up. But, you're not terribly mad at it because it's, you haven't seen a lot of it, haven't seen a lot of him. But that's where I think they're going to have to win a lot of games is that 6th, 7th, 8th.
Mm-hmm.
That's just
definitely where we're losing a lot right now is that bullpen.
It's because Mason Miller also has a 4.63 ERA as a closer.
We're all confident in his ability. So
you're going to have your ERAs are going to be cooked playing in Sacramento.
Yeah.
That's just, especially a reliever ERA because they throw, one inning at a time, maybe 1 to 2 outs at a time. Like it takes longer for them to get their ERA down. So one blow-up game that, Mason Miller probably had earlier in the year is still wearing on that ERA.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, another guy who's been kind of a bright spot out of the A's bullpen this year is Tyler Ferguson. He came out and pitched the 8th and the 9th and did a great job, didn't allow anything. And then the top of the 10th came around. The A's, so, in the extra innings, the runner starts at second base.
Yep.
Then Austin Wynns came up, struck out once again. Max Schumann, who actually hit a double yesterday, struck out with a runner on second, and then Denzel rounded out. So a tough top of the 10th for the A's. I would not have been mad to see a bunt and a sac fly or an RBI ground out. Give me something. We need to play a little more small ball. I know we have some big hitters in the top of the order, but that bottom of the order, it gets a little shaky.
A great way to win is just by doing, especially in extras, is by doing that. And I mean, I know the strategy for away teams is kind of like you want to
score as many.
You don't want only just the one, so you kind of don't want to give away outs. But in that position at the bottom of the 9th inning or the bottom of the 7, 8, 9 of the order, I wouldn't have been mad to see at least give them one out, let them get the bunt, and then if they get the sac fly, whatever, the game's tied. Yeah. And you're still, trying to score an insurance, but then you're tied going into the bottom of the inning.
Yeah, and I was also very surprised once we got to the bottom of the 10th that Mason Miller did not come out there to pitch the bottom of the 10th with runners on. Maybe it was to save that ERA a little bit. It's tough to come in when you got a runner on second and you're responsible for that, even though you didn't allow it. It's a very tough position to be in, but put in Hogan Harris, who is the young lefty. He's had some ups and downs this year, been in trip back up to the bigs. But he got a ground out right away, moved the runner over to third, so that's never a good start. Then he intentionally walked someone, got the second out. So there's 2 outs, runners on second and third. And then the guy who Denzel Clarke robbed the 2 games ago, Nolan Chanel, got a walk-off single to center field off Hogan Harris. So that was the game right there. Tough to see, but Nolan did get the last laugh in that after, they were talking about the Denzel Clarke catch-all game. They were showing it in this game even after. It wasn't even in this game. They showed it about 10 times, and Nolan did get the last laugh. So a tough game for the A's, but on the road, tough to win in extra innings.
I could say that he got the last laugh, but we're still talking about the catch. We're not really talking about the walk-off.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so today the A's are playing the Angels once again for the final game of the series. It is now 3-1 in the bottom of the 6th. Hopefully the A's don't give this one up. J.P. Sears had 9 strikeouts today. in 5 1/3 innings. So shout out to him.
I mean, I love JP Sears, but he needs to get on that consistent train.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm not going to say I guarantee it, but maybe his next game, I don't know how many strikeouts he's going to get. I don't think it'll be 9.
The home and away splits for most of these A's pitchers are pretty crazy to look at most of the time.
Hey, we home.
Hey, 12 wins at home.
12 wins at home.
That's a win in some aspect. 26 and 43, though. We can do this. Oh, my God. Right when I look at the score, it's 3-3. So, going to stop talking about the live game because we seem to jinx things. They put in Grant Holman, and he gave up, must have been a bomb. So, it's 3-3 right now. Let's move on to some positive talk, though. One of our favorite A's memories, our favorite segment to end the show. Shout out to Bleav for, giving us this platform. Also, if you're still listening, go listen on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That's what really helps us out. Go leave a like. Go rate the show 5 stars. All that really helps us build the show. But our favorite A's memory, I'm going to start with mine. Going back, once again, my favorite year of A's baseball, it was the A's versus the Giants. I am how old am I in 2012? 10 years old. I still had my long curly hair. Tim Lincecum was my favorite player of all time. But I'm wearing all my A's gear because, I'm a diehard A's fan. But it's A's Giants. It's packed. The Coliseum is rocking like no other. Half A's fans, half Giants fans. Before the game, I try and go get an autograph from Tim Lincecum. He's signing everyone's autographs. I'm the only one over there in A's gear. Skips right over me.
Damn.
Skips right over me. My favorite player of all time. No, not cool. Tim Lincecum, I love you still, but it did me really dirty. It scarred me for life, actually. I went and I cried. I was 10 years old, so you can imagine. I was crying tears. Tim Lincecum, my favorite player, didn't sign my baseball card of him because I'm wearing A's gear, and it really hurt. So after that, went to our seats. We had some really good seats this game. Matt Cain on the mound for the Giants, and he did a great job.
Of course it was.
It was Matt Cain versus A.J. Griffin. This was A.J. Griffin's first start in the MLB. I was at this game.
That's a throw.
Derek Norris is starting his first game, or one of his first games behind the plate, too. So we have a rookie catcher and a rookie pitcher on the mound. This was a pitcher's duel the whole way through. Pretty sure it was 2-1 Giants going into the 9th inning. Matt Cain was shutting them down. But going into the 9th inning, we get Santiago Casilla on the mound for the Giants. Giants legend, I want to say. And then, we get some guys up on the bases. There's 2 outs. Derek Norris comes up with 2 runners on. The A's are still down 1. First pitch Derek Norris sees. Out to left field.
Bomb.
Walk-off home run. Made my day. One of the best games I've ever been to. A's-Giants, Battle of the Bay. A's came out on top for this day game in the Coliseum. One of my favorite memories of all time. And that really gave me, some light at the end of the tunnel after Lincecum did me dirty in the pregame. But yeah, shout out to Derek Norris, A's legend, and A.J. Griffin. A.J. Griffin got a standing ovation when he came off the mound in this game. Outing, I think he went 6 strong, giving up 1 or 2 runs. So shout out to A.J. Griffin, man.
Shout out A.J. Griffin.
Yeah, got to get you on the show. But yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite memories of all time. So a great day for A's baseball.
Great day for A's baseball.
Yeah.
Every day is great.
Every day is a great day for A's baseball.
Yeah.
Well, we can close out, or we can give another memory if we got
a little memory.
Okay.
I wasn't there for this game, but I think every diehard A's fan remembers it. I was watching it for sure because it was Stephen Vogt's last game.
I do remember that. Too long ago.
His last at bat coming up. Well, first of all, his first at bat, we got to remember his kids up in the booth.
Announcing.
Now batting, our dad, Stephen Vogt. Yeah.
That was pretty spot on.
But he for his last at bat though, line drive to right field, and bombs it. And then when he's rounding first base, like he's laughing, and then Dallas Braden is laughing on the mic, and his voice perfectly overlays with his laugh. It was perfect.
Magical moment, man.
Magical moment. Shout out Stephen Vogt.
We believe in Stephen Vogt still to this day.
We believe in Stephen Vogt.
Always rooting for the Guardians when he's managing that. We were rooting for him in the playoffs last year, so hope to see them doing big things this year. Unless they're playing the A's in the playoffs, then we're gonna sweep them. But
going off. Man.
Hey, the Guardians are nice.
They're looking nice.
Yeah, the Guardians are nice. But anything else before we close out on this second episode of Bleav in A's?
I believe in the A's.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We believe.
Well, shout out to the Giants. We'll give him a little love. Matt Chapman on the IL. He did walk off the other day, so A's legend. First walk-off since being on the A's. Didn't know that until Dev told me. But yeah, so shout out to Matty Chap out there. I've heard some rumors that you guys are looking to get a big bat, Mike Trout, maybe Matt Olson, A's legend. You could reunite the corners. Bob Melvin, Matt Chapman, and Matt Olson.
Might as well get Sean Murphy over there, too.
Hey, might as well, man.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll close out on Bleav in A's. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to Bleav. Go follow, subscribe, like, all that.
Cheers.
Yes, sir.